Hello, everybody. Brian here for quantlabs.net. Today I'm going to talk about tech, really regarding message queuing, which is really the backbone to any system, even if it's not trading or trading, whatever you want to call it. So before I get started, get some free books, tech books, trading secret stuff, Excel. You don't have to be a programmer to use it. Stock screen as well. You can get that at quantlabs.net. Also, I'll be shutting down, as I've been hinting at for the last while, be shutting down the WhatsApp group. I'm just getting some scary news about Instagram and using cameras on your phone. That's on Bloomberg if you're interested. So it's time to get off of these things. So quantlabs.net/DVD is where to go to get access to our private chat server. Plus, you get some other good stuff. DVD with some training for both MotoWave and Python programming to build your gateway to trading bots in, as I said, in Python. So let's talk about where we've been working. I've been trying to improve the messaging for my live trading signals, regardless right now if it's crypto. Maybe interactive brokers have been dropping hints on as well. And it has to be fast. So I've gotten it down pretty quickly, down to about, for the validation on accounts, maybe within 5 to 7 seconds, depending where you live, and up to 10 seconds, let's say, if you're on the other side of the world. So these things are still valid, but I can cut those out internally for sure. So what we're dealing with here is how do you do that? So the first one is to use open source ZeroMQ. That's one of the older ones. So look through that. I wanted to highlight here this article. These are all found on my blog, the ones I'm referring to here at quantlabs.net/blog right there. So here's what you can go to is this article here called Decent Article Series on ZeroMQ with Authentication from IBM. So this is where it started about 2 weeks ago. I found these articles. They kind of worked. And basically, it has tokenization for authentication. It's a real pain in the ass to set up and manage for new people that sign up. So I went forward with it. I got to the point of where it just was not updating the message. So forget whatever it was. I just decided to move on. So then I started looking at, luckily I got Redis 6 put on my web server, and it's a cloud-based account, whatever that means. And this new Redis 6, its major feature is ACL message queue alternative to ZeroMQ. It's fast. I use it as a database, and I would use the message queuing capability as well for an internal database. So if you go to this article again, quantlabs.net/blog, if you go to this article here, Redis 6 ACL message queue alternative. So that's access controlless. So what you're doing is you are able to set up accounts in Redis and then give access to whatever tables and whatever else you want to make available to particular users in Redis. It's quite a good database. I love it. It's apparently the #1 database out there for cloud, and it's true open source. Okay, so there's that. The challenge here is my web hosting company said that it can be high risk if it's public facing. So behind firewalls, it's fine. Probably your best choice, most flexible as well. Once it goes public facing, people can easily hack into it. There's no doubt about it. The security is kind of okay, but it wouldn't be my top pick. You want to go for something more bulletproof. You want to have as much as you can behind the firewall. So there's that. Next up came Redis versus ZeroMQ. Now, I could have talked and added up bigger solutions like Kafka or RabbitMQ, but because my web hosting provider, which I want to keep everything on instead of jumping around from cloud to cloud, I do have AWS, and I kind of don't like it. It's too expensive. The worst thing, I just don't like Amazon anymore for their billing and whatever else on Seller Central. They're just an atrocious company and just treat people like crap. So we had that, and I was limited in what I could install on my Redis 6, on my provider was Redis 6 and ZeroMQ. That's all I had. Kafka I could have probably installed. That looked pretty expensive if I went elsewhere. And RabbitMQ was just something that is kind of over-engineered. So that's where we're at, and I just wanted to highlight that as well. I just want to make sure I've got everything mentioned here. So as I said, right now there's some chatter on my WhatsApp group about that, but I've taken away the links because, as I said, I'm going to shut down that group fairly soon because of just, I put up an article on this already regarding the level of people, and what I'm finding is the spamming on WhatsApp can be out of control, and I've done the Telegram as well. So as a result, and now the tracking is getting really out of hand with YouTube, with all these lawsuits and Facebook and whatnot. I'm trying to stay away from a lot of this stuff as possible now. So I'm testing out these videos, number of views, just to see how it compares against other alternative platforms. So the private chat server I've had for a very long time, and I am keeping that private. But if you want to get access to it, all you got to do is just come over to this thing here, as I said, quantlabs.net/DVD, okay? And that will get you access, as I said, and you'll get some training videos on MotiveWave and Python to show you which direction you want to go. And the MotiveWave is really geared towards traders and less programming. Back to our story here. So what we have now is just in one day, I've been playing with it around a lot. And I have to talk about Python as a whole. There's a question about why am I not using signaling for MotiveWave. MotiveWave, as I said, has a limitation. If I have an external process and I do screening and I want that process to open up, I don't know, IBM or Oracle or whatever, and not have to manually open it and open that chart externally from outside of MotiveWave. The problem is that limitation does not exist. I have to manually open Oracle or IBM or whatever, and then from there I can apply my strategies and studies that are built within MotiveWave. That is the biggest and last challenge that I've seen with MotiveWave. And other than that, that's why I'm been lately more focused on Python because of that. But if, for example, if you're like using a Kraken bot that I've got just to focus on, let's say, 3 coins, namely, let's say Ethereum, Bitcoin, and I don't know, XRP or whatever else that looks good for the long term, like Litecoin maybe, yeah, MotiveWave will work because you're only watching 3 assets, 3 instruments. But if you're doing something like screening, as I said, that limitation, that challenge with MotiveWave is not going to work. So MotiveWave is really good from an automation standpoint to be able to use it for a fixed number of instruments. But if you're trying to use a variety of them, a set today and then another set tomorrow, and you don't know what they'll be tomorrow, because you won't know because you're not able to automatically open charts so you can start to apply studies and strategies to those. So that's the issue with MotiveWave right now. So where all these challenges I've talked about with both Redis and ZeroMQ, or even, as I said, with Kafka or the other one, the RabbitMQ, what I'm finding is that the one that worked out really well, very lightweight, open, it's free as well, it's Python. So they have the capabilities to use Flask or can't remember the other one called for web development, and it's really well designed. So Flask is really designed for endpoints. So if you're going to get into API development, endpoints are really good. So that's where Flask really shines. So what I could do behind my firewall, have my scripts generate JSON files or JSON objects, and give the Flask scripts written in Python get access to those, and then post all those JSON objects into my endpoints on my server. So that way they are made available through my web server, and it's just a get and a post, like using classic HTTP, which is the most primitive protocol out there and the fastest and the most lightweight. So that's what I've done. And on top of that, the other concern obviously is I could easily use what I love about Python, ZeroMQ is its pub sub design pattern. And I can send out a notification via that pattern in ZeroMQ. My trading scripts will get that notification, and then it will look up the appropriate latest JSON file on my server, and then feed that into the trading script as data, and be able to decide if it's going to trade or not for my customers. So that's what I've designed. The challenge there also as paying customers versus leeches, basically, or hackers, whatever you want to call them. There are those that will try to leech off of these endpoints that are made available, but I've put a stop to that. So as my customers are now moving up and paying quite a bit of money, want to know that there's a security plus, that only they get it. So I've got a really neat little way of being able to, when the trading script puts the request out for the JSON file or JSON object, what it does, you have to supply your email of the client, of the customer, and then it will validate if that customer has access to that JSON file, and if it does, then it will return the JSON object. And it takes about 5 seconds. There might be better implementations I can use to make it even faster, like pretty instant. That's what I'm going to go with right now because it's a very low volume. But for now, that's what I'm going with, and it works pretty good. But I'll have another newer implementation. Who knows when? In a couple of weeks, couple of months, I don't know. But I've already gotten ideas how to get around that challenge as well. So I just wanted to update people on where things are at. I've got things working now, just tying everything together in a trading script code. So I'll put that all up on my social media as well. Okay, so I just want to let people know about that. Thanks for watching, and we shall talk to you later.